I grew up probably like many of you fellow bike enthusiasts did. People around me engraving in my soul how dangerous motorcycle riding is. Borderline sinful. A very fast one-way ticket straight to hell. But I bet you can guess what I did when I got old enough to ride the most powerful bikes. But here's the problem. Growing up in such isolation from the motorcycle world means that I lived in ignorance for a long time. So I went looking for stories, videos, interviews, with the goal of learning more about this increasing passion of mine. And following the spirit of this YouTube series, I'll show you what I found out in my own voice, instead of this annoying featherweight. And what better way to start learning about motorcycles than with the Red Beast from Bologna, Italia. Contrary to what I was expecting, the Ducati story doesn't start with motorbikes. It doesn't even start with motors or mechanical components. The Società Scientifica Radio Brevetti Ducati, founded in 1926 by Adriano, Marcelo, Bruno, and their father Antonio Ducati, developed electronic capacitors for radios. Over the years, the company expanded its production to office intercoms, electric calculators, and by 1935, the headquarters had moved to where it stands today, in Borgo Panigale, a name with which an icon would be baptized almost 80 years in the future. But unfortunately, as Europe descended into chaos by the end of the 1930s, focus shifted to the production of military equipment, and an Allied bombing raid in 1944 razed the factory to the ground. Midway through the rebuilding efforts in 1946, Ducati purchased the manufacturing rights for an engine specially designed to be fitted on a bicycle. But as the legend begins for us, it unfortunately ended for the Ducati family. The struggling business applied for state receivership in 1948 and was taken by the government. As for the three brothers, they all went their separate ways. But for the Ducati factory, this was just the beginning of a motorized revolution. Their first motorcycle, the Ducati 60, offered great mileage and performance given its light weight. But then, after branching the company in Ducati Elettronica and Ducati Meccanica in 1953, the latter hired Fabio Taglioni, a 34-year-old mechanical engineer and World War II veteran, and in just 40 days, he created an engineering marvel, the Grand Sport. Nicknamed Mariana, it won the 1955 Milano-Taranto and the Moto Giro races, and it decimated the competition, with the first 6 finishers being Ducati bikes. The fans responded with such high appraisal that Taglioni was obliged to bring the Mariana to the day-to-day life of riders, hence the creation of the 100, 125 and 175T models, with this last one being a long-distance travel bike. But again, that is an understatement so big in fact, that no adjectives would describe the reliability of the bike that went around the world in a promotional voyage. And it doesn't end there. With an aerodynamic fairing encapsulating the modified bike, carrying a higher revving 100cc engine, the Mariana beat 44 records at the Monza circuit, 5 of which were of the superior 250cc class. By that point, Ducati had become a status symbol, with exclusive bikes being sold to private customers, such as Mike Hailwood, legendary British rider who won the world title on the Isle of Man TT with his 900 SS in 1978. Sport bikes were also being manufactured with increasing similarities to the ones thrashed around racetracks. The 750 Imola Desmo racing bike turned into the Supersport Desmo that also had the revolutionary Desmodronic system, a more reliable and efficient valve control mechanism. And for the masses, the Scrambler 450 and the Penta 500 were highly successful, with the 500 marking the end of state ownership and the transition to the new generation of Ducati sport bikes. Out of the 6 manufacturers that have competed in the World Superbike Championship, Ducati has the most wins, 18 to be precise. And just to illustrate how massive of an accomplishment that is, that's more wins than all of the other 5 constructors put together. Raimund Roche won its first World Riders' Championship in 1990. And then, Ducati won 6 World Constructors' Championships in a row from 91 to 96, with the 888 and the 916, the brand's most successful bikes. And as if that wasn't good enough, they beat that record by winning 7 consecutive Constructors' Championships from 98 to 2004, with the 916 and the 999. Troy Bayliss and Carl Fogarty are the team's most successful riders. Between 2012 and 2021, the Ducati team missed out on both the Constructors and Riders titles. But in 2022, they came back with this gorgeous deep red artwork on wheels, the Ducati Panigale. It's fantastic to see Ducati back on top. It's impressive to read about its performance figures. But this channel, albeit dynamic in terms of topics, they all relate in some sense to design. And this for me is one of the most beautiful sports bikes currently on sale. However, it is not my favorite. But that's a topic for another video.